Hey guys, how you doing? It's Art from Art's Model Trains. So I'm back from an awesome day at Grzyboski's train store. And I went there this afternoon to meet my buddy Dell and my buddy Ray to pick up my pre-order of the Lionel Visionline Hudson. It was awesome. I met Ray and Dell there at about 2 o'clock. Unfortunately, Mike was not able to come in. I guess it was a lot to ask him to come in for one day from Omaha. But we'll hopefully see him again at York. And a few other people showed up. So John from John Toy Train Fanatic from the Lower Susquehanna Valley Modular Railroaders Club was there. And Dave from the D.A. Griffin Hobby Channel was there as well. And it was an awesome time hanging out. I think we hung out at the store for like 2.5 hours. It was a great time. Bought this and a couple other things you'll see in future videos. But let's dive into this awesome Visionline locomotive, and I will give you a quick story about how I ended up with this version of the Visionline locomotive. All right, so when I decided to pre-order the Lionel Visionline Hudson, I decided to go with 5344. And the reason why I wanted that road number was because that is the only Hudson that was also a Commodore Vanderbilt. There was only one of those, and also got streamlined as a Dreyfuss Hudson. And I thought that was really cool, being that I have both of those locomotives. But a couple things occurred to me over the time period of when I pre-ordered to now. Number one, I got my Vanderbilt. It has road number specific dialogue, but it says 5344. And I realized if I got 5344 Hudson, the dialogue would be exactly the same. I would have two very similar locomotives. And number two, as you guys probably have seen, the 5344 locomotive showed up with something near the surface of the sun as far as a shine on that locomotive. It was not called out in the pamphlet that Lionel put out at the end of last year. It was not called out in volume 1, and it was not called out in their videos that they were going to put that locomotive and give it a high gloss finish. I don't know how that happened, and they didn't tell anybody that was going on. So a little bummed about that, but luckily Joe from Grzyboski's was awesome, and he worked with me, and I was able to get 5403 instead of 5344, which was an awesome adjustment because this is one of the locomotives that comes in matte black. And now with 5403, I have unique road number dialogue, which is different than my Vanderbilts, which is really cool. So I'm very excited about this locomotive, very happy to have it in my collection. It gets me closer to completing my New York Central fleet. I think for now it's complete. There's really not much else I need. And I am like super excited with this locomotive. I may not take this off the tracks for a long time. The Vanderbilt's been running constantly for the last 4 weeks or 3 weeks since I got it too. So really excited about these two locomotives and really excited to have it in the collection. So let me get you guys off the stand, and I'll do the usual, bring you in, give you the quick look of this sucker, and then we're gonna run it around the layout. I'm gonna have it pull some freight because I got the Vanderbilt hooked up to the passenger train. So let's get you guys off the stand and let's check it out. All right, guys, so let's take a look at this up close. And again, let's start at the front here as usual. There is a scale coupler here that can be replaced with a dummy lobster claw coupler, so you can lash this up. The smoke box does open for servicing the headlight. Great detail across the front here. Hopefully that's coming out on the camera. Really liking the handrails and the stairs and the cow catcher there. It does have the silver pilot wheels here. I have to look at the scale ones in the box and see if they are also silver. I know the version my buddy Dell got were, I believe, silver with the white walls. So some difference there. I don't know why Lionel went with silver. You don't really notice it when it's running. The running gear and everything look fantastic. Usual stuff along with the separate, the legible builder's plate, separately applied handrails and stuff like that. I did notice a little difference down here in the back between the MTH version and the Lionel version is the piping on the Lionel version seems to be much more fine and thin, whereas the MTH version, they use some thicker piping. I guess that's just difference in the manufacturing. You have your pop-off valves here that do nothing right now. This is your, well, they do nothing, period. This is your whistle smoke hole. And as you can see, I got a little aggressive with how much smoke fluid I put in there, and it blows out a ton. All of your switches are under this dome. There's your swinging bell, and you obviously your smokestack where you fill for this. Now, so there are two fill points, one for the whistle and one for, if I can get my fingers pointed right here, the smokestack. So you do have to fill it in twice. It is not one unit like a lot of the other locomotives that Lionel is putting out today. So before we take a look at the cab, I'll put some track power on in a second. Let's just take a quick look at the tender. Great detail as usual. Separately applied ladder and handrails, backup lights, real co-load, all the usual features of a Lionel tender. And this is obviously not the PT tender with the water scoop effect. And again, before I put the power on, just like my Visionline Vanderbilt, there is a drop plate here that will not stay up on 054. So again, not a huge deal for me, but just so everybody knows that drop plate does not stay up. All right, so now I got some track power on there, and you can see the awesome detail inside this cab. Again, they have the crew figure very similar to the Vanderbilt. He's reaching up for a lever. They have the painted red knobs. And I did notice on the Vanderbilt when it was running and this locomotive when it is running, the dials are actually lit inside the cab, which is really cool. Very hard to capture on film, but a really cool feature. All right, so let's dive into some of the sounds of this locomotive. All right, let's start with the startup sequence for this locomotive.
Train 1 brakeman, NYC 5403. We're showing 90 pounds on the rear of the train. Take out 20 for initial terminal brake test. Over. That's a Roger. 20-pound reduction given. Checking for leakage. Out. Roger. Showing 20 pounds. Walking the train. Brakeman out.
So I have noticed that is the same startup sequence that my Vanderbilt has. Don't think there was variation in the startup sequence, which I think is interesting. I'll have to pay more attention as I start it up over and over. And the shutdown sequence, which you'll hear in a minute, very similar. It's usually the same one. Or I think there's maybe one or two variations, one where they're going to beans and one where they're tying it down or something like that. Okay, crew talk.
5403 to Cleveland Tower. Ready to roll. Can I pull? Please stand by. Out.
Again, like the Vanderbilt, they do call out Cleveland, Chicago as cities on the route, which is really cool. And the tower comm, there are some tower comm sequences along with some, sometimes you press the button and you get sound effects like shoveling and things like that.
It's going to be running on off if we don't move on soon.
Okay, so there's some actual conversation. All right, so let's go through the whistles. Whistle, at least number one in where I have it right now. That's the one I've been running it with mostly. So again, we're back around. Pretty cool whistles, very simple. The bells, again, are actually just all the same bell, just a different tone, so we're not going to run through all them. But let's take a look at that swinging bell. So the swinging bell feature, I think, is one of the coolest ones on a locomotive. Again, I use it mostly by putting the locomotive into sequence mode. That way it rings the bell on its own as you do different things. Really cool. But again, you can trigger that just by pushing the bell button for about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, holding it down, and it will ring continuously. Obviously, if you just push it once, it will go about 2 or 3 times. So really cool. So before I get this off and running, I do want to tell everybody that I have been able to run this locomotive on both my 054 section and my 048 section. This locomotive and the Vanderbilt share the exact same frame, if you will. Everything from the shell down in both the locomotive and at least in this version of the tender are exactly the same as the Vanderbilt, both of which navigate 048 curves with no problem. Again, the drop plate drops on 054. I'm assuming it would drop on 048 as well. Works great. So thumbs up to Lionel for that. The force coupler effect, you will hear that when that kicks in and starts to pull the freight. It is a really cool addition to the locomotive and adds that little like extra realism to the locomotive. So let's get her moving. Going to put her into sequence mode so you can see that bell kick off.
Dispatcher engine 5403, you can take the green. Over.
Thank you much. All clear, moving to the outbound. 5403, out. 5403 to Cleveland Tower. Rain is rolling. Over.
Very good, keep them rolling. Out.
Dispatcher, I'm at slow speed. Out. Dispatcher, this is 5403. On the track, look, am I clear? Over.
Affirmative, your track is clear. Out.
Nice bank on that fire. Steaming great, we're making time. Chicago, this is 5403. Train is inbound, am I clear? Over.
Yes, sir, the lead is all clear. Chicago, out.
New York Central 5403 to the tower. We are done for the day. Heading to the register room to sign out. Out.
So thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review and quick look at the Visionline Hudson from Lionel. And thank you again to Joe from Grzyboski's for hooking me up. I do really appreciate it. Again, guys, check out his site. It's an awesome website to shop. And I will see you guys again on the next one.